You. Hello. Are you in a place right now where you're really struggling to accept where you are and you're kind of daydreaming in the future? Or you're just daydreaming like that? And you want to get more present and start achieving more and just being happy with what you're doing every day? Well, today I'm going to go through how you can do that by tracking. Welcome back to the Self-Esteem and Confidence Mindset channel with me, Johnny Pardo. There's no intended point of doing that, I just thought I'd do it anyway. If you want more self-esteem and confidence videos, then you can subscribe to my channel or hit the bell to be notified to get notified of a new video every time I release it, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, like I said, this is coming from someone who spent an awful lot of his life in the future. I was daydreaming about how I was living in a magical castle, there are all these fairies flying around, and I had all this ice cream. Okay, not quite that, but although, yeah, ice cream, well, I'm vegan, so I probably wouldn't have ice cream. But anyway, back to the point. I was a guy who was spending an awful lot of time in the future. And now and then I have to catch myself, I have to snap myself out of it. And it's an easy thing to do, being in the future. But the problem was, when I was getting caught so much in the future, I was not being present. And when I come back to reality, I just wasn't happy with where I was, even though in reality, it was a pretty good life compared to a lot of the world, to be honest. But I just didn't realise that myself. And so I started to try and read through personal growth books and started to apply some of it. And then I started coming up with more productivity ideas and little hacks and tricks. And then I started to really start monitoring my goals and my habits. And that's when I was able to build more and more progress. So I'm going to go through how you can do this as well. First of all, I'm going to start with a couple of quotes. Love a good quote. When something is tracked, it improves. Can't remember who I heard that from the first time, but I think it was one of my business breakthrough groups. When something is measured, it improves rather than tracked. So when something's measured, it improves because you can see where you are and you can see where you're going to go. And that links me on to the second quote. Progress starts with truth. When you start identifying where you are and accepting where you are and where you want to be, you've got an idea of the direction and therefore the changes you have to make in your life. So those are the two things that particularly shaped my thinking and then made me rethink about my planning and writing down what I need to do each day. Okay, what are you going to need to do this? You can either use a whiteboard, a pad and paper, or a good old Google sheet or Excel spreadsheet, depending on what you like to use. And what I find is really, really effective and how I've done it is I identify my yearly goals. So what do I want to achieve by the end of 2020, for example? Or when we get to the new year, what do I want to achieve by the end of 2021? So you can set what you want to achieve by the end of this year and then the end of next year. Maybe just focus on what you want to achieve for the rest of this year. Hopefully you set some goals at the start of the year, but a lot of people set goals and then forget about them. And that goes back to my point of you need to track it. So writing down what you want to achieve by the end of the year, and then what you want to achieve each month. And then what do you want to achieve each week? So each week I look at my annual goal, then I look at my monthly goal that I want to achieve. How's my monthly goal going to support my annual goals? And then how's my weekly goals going to support my monthly goals? And then the daily habits, what I've renamed the must habits, what I must absolutely do every day, is I then plan out my day accordingly and weeks accordingly. The must habits are things like, for me, it's speaking in front of the mirror or writing for a little bit, or reading a little bit. Various little bits that I need to do each day. And then I start writing them down and actually tracking them. I have them on a whiteboard, which I'm looking at right in front of me. and then I think, right, I need to achieve this, this and this, and I make it realistic to achieve, and I make them a little bit challenging sometimes. Well, most of the time. I sometimes overdo it, but hey, I'm learning. But then I set out what I need to do, and by identifying what I need to do today, what I need to achieve for the week, I'm able to constantly look at that and then go back to it. And I also put them on an Excel spreadsheet so I can reference what I've done in the past, and then also for my accountability group, which is the next point I'm going to come on to in a minute. Now, I'd like to make another point about the daily habits, the must habits. The must habits are, if you were in that future place, if you were in your dream world, or where you wanted to be by the end of the year, imagine that person you are when you've really got what you want. What does that person do? What are they doing day to day? Are they exercising? Are they interacting with a lot of people? Because you don't wait until then to do those things. You start doing as many of those habits as you can now. And those are what I term as my must habits. So for example, if I was a best-selling Amazon writer, which is my big target, what would I be doing each day? I'd probably be doing a lot of reading each day. So therefore, I read for half an hour just so I can refresh my memory. I'd probably be doing a lot of exercising so I can feel good and get in the right state. I'd probably be eating well. So those are the things I need to do, and I make sure I do them right now. So think about what your daily habits need to be, what your musts are, what the person you need to become is, what your weekly goals are based on your monthly goals, based on your yearly goals. So that's my first point. Coming on to the second point, the accountability group, which I just touched on a little bit. The accountability group is reporting your goals to someone. So as I was saying, if you don't write down your goals, like some of us don't at New Year, we are not going to remember them. Do you know how many thoughts just in a day we have? Billions. So how many thoughts are we going to have throughout the year? There's not even a number for that, is there? Billion, trillion, zillion, I don't know. I haven't counted that far. I haven't attempted to either yet, but I'm sure someone has, although it probably took them all of their life. But anyway, yeah, so we get all these thoughts, so we need to write things down. Okay, we've established that. And that's going to help you remember it even more. If you're writing it down, you're referencing it every day. But you can say, yeah, I'm not sure, oh, I'm not feeling so great today. Yeah, we all have that. But that's why it's important to write your why as well, why you're really going for it, and be really clear on that, because you can forget further down the line again. But another point I'm going to make, I could have included the why as another one, is accountability. Telling people what you're going to do, because we like to be consistent with what we say we're going to do. So if we're telling someone, or a group, like I do, I've got a small group, I want to achieve this by the end of the week, I'm going to do this every single day, we're more likely to do it. It increases our chances of hitting something by 80%. That's a big number. So think about who you can be accountable to for your weekly goals and your daily goals. And you're tracking this as you go, but you're also, and that's why you can use an Excel spreadsheet, sharing it with other people and marking off. Make sure you've got a strong accountability group, not people who are just going to go, oh yeah, I'll keep you accountable and forget about it. My job as a coach, I like to make people accountable to me as well. But you don't have to have a coach. I'd advise you get a coach, because you know that helps you in every way. And even the best of the best have coaches. Although I'm not sure the best of the best of the best of the best have as coaches. But anyway, I'd advise you get that. But you don't necessarily need to pay loads for a coach to do that. You can just get a good trusted friend or someone from a network group online. There's plenty of them to get you, well, to get them to be your accountability partner. My question for you today is, what do you do to record your progress regularly? Just leave yours in the comments below. My next point is reward and punishment, or if you think the word punishment's too harsh, call it takeaway. What I mean by this is, okay, we've written our goals down, we're tracking them, and this is going to make it more likely to achieve it. Then we add in our accountability group or partner. Now we start adding in rewards and punishments. So if you say, oh, I didn't achieve this by the end of the week or end of the day to someone, they might say, why didn't you do that, and challenge you a little bit. However, if you're also putting an incentive and a takeaway with it, oh, now you've got some drive to try and achieve something. Got a bit excited then. So, for example, what's a reward? If you complete all your goals for the week, and make sure your goals are in control, because sometimes in your control for the week, but might contribute towards a bigger picture. Try and make them in your control as much as possible, like finishing a book. And then if you say, I didn't finish the book because I got distracted by so-and-so going down to the pub. That was still in your control because you just decided not to read it. Or you didn't get time in the day because your day job got busy. Well, you need to work on your time management and organise it a little bit. And I'm saying these things which sound harsh, but I'm giving power back to you by realising what you're in control of. So yeah, make your goals, you can be in control of them, but make sure you've got a reward attached to them when you achieve it. You need to praise yourself and don't forget about the reward. So buy yourself that new top, that new pair of trainers. Go for a spa day, probably not as much in the lockdown. Get yourself a new haircut, again, probably not as much in the lockdown. Buy yourself, or just treat yourself for a day off, a nice long walk or something like that. It's going to make you feel good for achieving it, and don't forget about it. And then on the other side, because when we're working for a reward, we think, wow, this is good. I've treated myself. I've done something right. I need to do more of this. Our brain takes note of that. Now think about taking something away and you've got a double incentive. So for me, if I do not achieve all my goals this week, I do not get coffee the whole of next week. Now some people are thinking, oh my God, no coffee. Some people, your tea drinkers of you, are thinking, that's fine. What if we took away tea for you if you didn't achieve your goal? If you don't like coffee or tea, don't worry about it. Use the example, but obviously don't use it in the case of tea and coffee. But if I don't achieve all my goals this week, I'm going to think, oh no, I can't have any coffee. This is bad. I've done something bad. And then my brain will be like, right, we don't want that kind of pain again. And your brain associates pain with kind of doing things sometimes, but actually you're putting even more pain for not doing it, and you've got a reward, and you've got an accountability group, and you're writing it down. You've got a lot of things driving you to achieve something. So there's a high chance you're going to do it, and you're going to be tracking it along the way and realizing what momentum you're making. So take away coffee. I said this to someone the other day and they went, no, I couldn't do that. But that's the point, because you're putting something so much pain in front of you that you have to do it. So that's my third point. Associate reward and punishment or takeaway with accomplishing your goals and habits. And then the final point to just end on is read it daily. Just keep reading. I've kind of been repeating this throughout, but it's kind of a message that you need to repeat stuff and see it over and over again. Just keep reading what you said you're going to do over and over again, because that's going to embed it into your brain even more. So just keep reading it over and over again, looking at that tracker, looking at the whiteboard, looking at your pad and paper. And the purpose of me putting it on the whiteboard I'm looking at directly in front of me is that if I keep looking at it, then it's going to help. And if I keep it on the spreadsheet, but the thing is, I put it in both places. I put it on the spreadsheet to share with my accountability group, but I'm not always going to have the spreadsheet open. Whilst when I walk into my kitchen and my living room, which is kind of combined space, I'm always seeing that board, so therefore I'm not going to miss it. So put it somewhere visible in front of you if you're going to put these weekly goals and your musts. As we wrap up today, it's really, really important to track what you're doing regularly through regular tracking, whether it's the whiteboard, whether it's a pad and paper, whether it's a spreadsheet, whether it's a couple like I do. Because when you start doing things, you're more likely to connect with reality where you are now, and therefore when you connect with them now, you're more likely to make progress. And when you make progress, you're going to build your confidence even more. If you feel like you could do with even more accountability, just a bit more clarity, really understanding where you want to get to, then you can email me and please reach out. It's coaching@johnnypardo.com, where we can have a look whether one-to-one coaching might be useful to support you achieve your goals and build those habits that you want to include in your life. Thank you very much for watching today. If you want even more around your mindset, around self-esteem and confidence, then you can subscribe to my channel or hit the bell to be notified when I release a new video every Tuesday and Thursday. One final message: never skip Self-Esteem Day. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in my next video.